And we're back. This is
So-
Hook and Ladder. This bowl season. We don't care about all the early games. We're getting started with the games starting tomorrow night. Friday, December 29th, 2023. We got 2 days
Before we
left.
get into them, these bowls going on today, yesterday, the last few days, they've been entertaining, but they're the kind of bowls that a lot of people don't really pay attention to unless you're dudes like us who pretty much watch all of them. I've been watching all of them. First handful of games, I think I was pretty much undefeated in my bets until Tuesday, maybe, but I went 0 for 4 yesterday. And when I started thinking about it, and we'll talk about it with these games coming up, because a lot of these games coming up have this issue, the opt-outs. Right now, the Miami Rutgers game is ending, the Pinstripe Bowl, Yankee Stadium. A lot of opt-outs for Miami, and they're basically playing a full Rutgers team. And earlier today, it was SMU at the Fenway Bowl against Boston College. It's basically a home game for both Boston College and then Rutgers, and this one, the Pinstripe Bowl. Same thing with SMU. They were the number 24 ranked team in the country. They had a handful of guys opted out. And although they were the more talented football team, they went up against a team in Boston College who's nobody's really opted out on those games. So it's kind of tough to kind of gauge those games. Play a full roster in a team like Rutgers with basically your second, third string guys in a lot of positions. Things are going to look a little different.
That's right.
But these games have been entertaining nonetheless.
Let's start talking about the upcoming games. Starting tomorrow, we got the Gator Bowl. We got Clemson and Kentucky going at it.
Taxler Gator Bowl, or as I just like to call it, the Gator Bowl. It's always been in Jacksonville. Clemson, ranked number 22 in the nation, kind of finished very, very strong to the season. They looked pretty bad early on. They finished really strong. Kentucky, another disappointing season, you could say. The Devin Leary project didn't really work. Clemson's got a few guys out. The running backs are going to play,
Right.
but a few of the other skill position guys aren't. There's a couple guys on defense that won't play either. Kentucky's got a couple of guys opting out, but they're more full strength. I don't think it really matters. I know that Davis is playing for Kentucky, but Devin Leary's not great. Clemson's got a good defense. This game is kind of, just like the rest, they're kind of tough to call just because of the opt-outs. Like, how difficult is that going to make things on these teams? But it should be a good game. It does the rankings. Kentucky was ninth in the conference overall. So I mean, they're in a bowl game against a decent Clemson team who had a disappointing year by their standards. I still think Clemson should win this game, but it wouldn't surprise me seeing Kentucky pull it out.
Right. And they did pretty good in transfer portal. They got Brock Vandergriff and then Dumas Johnson.
They did really good. They got the kid, I think it's Pryor from Ohio State. They got a couple of good wideouts. They got Jamon Dumas Johnson, which was Georgia's starting linebacker from all of last year and most of this season. So they did really well in the transfer portal.
Right.
They should have a very strong team next year. You'd think that Brock Vandergriff is going to be a better runner than the last two quarterbacks, Will Levis or Devin Leary. For Kentucky, probably better arm talent than Leary. I would say he's probably a more athletic Will Levis. And then they just, in my opinion, they upgraded on defense. And Pryor's a really good running back for Ohio State.
Yeah. We'll see. I mean, you can get a ticket for this game for $35.
And it's in Jacksonville, so it's going to be warm.
Maybe. Let's see, what else we got? We got the Tony the Tiger Sun Bowl. Oregon State at Notre Dame.
This is in El Paso.
El Paso.
So, DJ Oogly Moogly, he's gone. I don't think Oregon State's really got too many other opt-outs. They could have a few. I would guess, I haven't heard anything. I haven't really read much on the teams and the practices this week. But I'm guessing Oregon's probably coming in with a fuller roster than Notre Dame is. Don't think Sam Hartman's playing. So again, another very difficult game to gauge. I still think Notre Dame overall is more talented, but as we've seen in the last few days, the more talented roster doesn't necessarily apply in these bowl games if you have too many guys at key positions opting out.
Right.
Talent can only kind of go so far. If you're a redshirt freshman who's only got 15 snaps in your career and you're starting against a guy that's been there 4 years, yeah, you might be more athletic than him, the guy you're going against, but he's going to be a better player.
That's right.
In the grand scheme of things. I think Notre Dame wins this game, probably wins it by 10.
Sounds good. If you're in El Paso for the Sun Bowl, you can get a ticket for like $42. Memphis playing Iowa State in the Liberty Bowl, AutoZone Liberty Bowl.
Montgomery, Alabama, if I'm not mistaken. Not too far from right? Isn't that Montgomery? I'm pretty sure that's Montgomery.
That's Memphis, isn't it? Liberty Bowl's Memphis, isn't it? Let's see. Hold on, let me scroll over.
Yeah, you're right. Shit, my bad.
That's,
Can't believe I was wrong.
they're not playing in
What's the
Montgomery.
game?
They're playing in Birmingham. That's some garbage bowl.
Independence Bowl. The Independence Bowl is in Birmingham.
No, Shreveport.
It is?
Yeah.
What the heck's in Birmingham?
It's that, I don't know, Papa John's.
All right.
we don't have a title.
I get some of these bowls confused.
Well, when it was
every
just
year.
Liberty Bowl, then you knew it was Shreveport. And then if it was the Music City Bowl, it was in Nashville.
Yes.
But anyway, we got Memphis against Iowa State.
So this is basically a home game for Memphis.
Mm-hmm.
I still think Iowa State should win this game. Probably a little bit more talented roster.
I would
not
imagine
100% sure, but it should be an interesting game nonetheless. If you're not doing anything tomorrow afternoon, most of the country, it's going to be extremely cold and horrible weather
Mm-hmm.
for probably 80% of the country. Just sit on your couch and watch this game.
Craig Colbert open and drink a few. Get good and loosened up because you got Missouri against Ohio State at 8 in the Cotton Bowl.
This is going to be a good game. I heard that Marvin Harrison really isn't going through practices. Don't think Travion Henderson's playing. I could be wrong. I didn't read too much on this one. Missouri's basically coming with a full roster.
Right.
Their big guys are juniors, and I know that the big running back they got, Schrader, he's a senior, but he's not opting out of this game. This is a huge matchup for Missouri. This is kind of like a disappointing bowl for Ohio State. Every Ohio State fan will tell you. But the Cotton Bowl is an awesome game. One of the better bowls, in my opinion. Always remember watching this game as a kid. Kind of gets overlooked with, the sugar and the rose and the fiesta and the orange, with the playoffs. But I think Cotton Bowl is a great game. They always take an SEC team. And the rumors are always like, like this year, the rumor was if Georgia lost to Alabama, they could make it. They never take a team from the East.
It's always
until this year, they take Missouri.
Yeah.
It's usually an SEC West team. I think due to the records, they're going to let Missouri go to this one and flip it because I think Ole Miss has been there before.
Yeah.
Put Ole Miss in the Peach Bowl. I thought Missouri would have went Peach, Ole Miss Cotton, but it's kind of cool.
Yeah.
I'm going to go on a limb and say Missouri wins this game. Kyle McCord's gone. Don't know who is playing for Ohio State, but Missouri's coming in with a full roster.
That's right.
We know that Ohio State, I didn't think they were too soft against Michigan. I thought they played very well in that game, especially against Michigan's run offense. Missouri's got a great run offense. They've got a good defense. They can be had in the passing game. Is the quarterback for Ohio State, the wide receivers they got left? They got talented wide receivers all across the board, regardless of who's left. But can the quarterback get it to him? And then again, I think some of the wide receivers Missouri had are going to be the most athletic and talented wide receivers Ohio State has faced this year. Same thing with the running back. As good as Blake Corum was, I'll put Schrader up against anybody in the Big Ten.
I agree.
Anybody in the Big Ten. And, quarterback-wise, Missouri does all right.
Yeah.
Was it Cook?
Yeah.
I think Missouri's going to take this game. I think they want it more. This is a big deal for them, where it's a disappointment for Ohio State.
Just could round their season out.
They've got 2 losses on the year. So the 10-2 on the year could go 11-2
with a
Good
big
for them.
Cotton Bowl win. Yeah,
Yeah, Cotton
absolutely
Bowl win.
awesome. All right, now let's talk about Saturday's games. Ole Miss takes on Penn State at high noon, the Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl.
In Atlanta.
I hate this game when it's a noon game. It should be like at night on Christmas Eve, on New Year's Eve, and that's when the game should be played. But whatever.
And a lot of times it has been, not just when it's a playoff game. It's been a night game other times, and other times at random it's a noon kick.
We went to the Georgia-Cincinnati game that time.
Yes, I actually thought about going to this game, and then I was told that I have to bring my mother to the airport, and I'm like, why do you schedule a flight and not look at the bowl schedule? Because now I gotta drive as fast as possible to Atlanta and back so I can watch most of this game.
Pump the brakes. What time's the game's noon? What time's the flight?
Her flight's at 3, so I think she wants to get there by 1. So I'm gonna miss first half easy.
Okay, never mind. I was some logistics in my head here.
Believe me, I thought about stopping at Taco Mac on the way back. Should be a good game. I don't really know who's opting out for either team. I do know that, God damn, as good as Kentucky did in the portal, I got to say Ole Miss won the damn portal this year. Defensively, they loaded multiple 5-star defensive linemen. At least was one of them from A&M. They got a kid out of Florida, and then they got the kid out of Tennessee. So they basically got defensive tackle and then 2 edge guys. They got a wide out. They got a couple of DBs. They're just going all in. And, look, the schedule for them shapes up favorably next year. Don't have to play Alabama. It's a 12-team playoff. They're putting all their money and chips on the table.
To get a seat at the table, get a dance.
Yep, get in the playoffs, see what happens. I expect Penn State has a garbage offense. Yeah, their defense is good. They're a little small. So I'm wondering how their their defense with that slighter size, more speed, is going to hold up against Quayshawn Junkins. He's got to play. He's like a sophomore. I wonder how they're going to hold up against him, pounding the rock. Then you got that passing game, that offense Lane Kiffin likes to run. I expect Ole Miss to run away with this thing. That being said, Ole Miss has a tendency to completely shit the bed in this type of game. I don't see it happening. I see a 20-point minimum Ole Miss victory.
Okay. Moving right along. The Trans Perfect Music City Bowl. Auburn is going to be playing Maryland at 2 o'clock
and this
Saturday.
One's in Nashville.
Nash Vegas.
Yeah, I've been to this game. Watched Alabama play Minnesota one year. Chad Pennington overthrew a wide open guy in the end zone at the end of regulation, trying to go for the tie. Minnesota had 2 running backs. I can't remember the names now. God, this was 25 years ago. Both of them went to the NFL.
Chad Pennington didn't play for Minnesota.
Chad Pennington played for Alabama. He missed the pass at the end of the game.
No, he played for Marshall.
It was Pennington, so maybe it's his brother.
Okay.
I just remember Rusty taking the T-shirt for the game, getting so mad. We were like in the last row. He threw it over the stadium. I was like, dude, you paid $25 for a T-shirt and got mad. Threw it over. It was Pennington. Because not Chad, it was another Pennington.
Okay, I think I know what you're talking about.
Quarterback went out. He came in, sucked it up. Anyway, fun game. Auburn, Maryland. Tungavailoa, little brother's not playing in this game. I'm going with Auburn.
Yeah.
I'm going with Hugh Freeze. Finished the season right. The dude knows how to coach, despite the fact he's kind of a tool. Defense came to play against Alabama, except for the last play of the game. I expect him to win this game, and I expect him to win, I don't know, 1 score, maybe 6 points, something like that. Maybe defense get a stop at the end.
Yeah. Get a weekend in Nashville. I mean, $22 to go to the game. You just
leave tomorrow.
Yeah.
Get up there, spend Friday night in Nashville, go to the game, 2 o'clock. Get out of the game, have some fun in Nashville, stick around for another day. Nashville's a fun city.
It's a great city.
That game was on New Year's Eve, like at noon or 11 a.m. We went and watched a bunch of other games. I remember we watched the Rose Bowl from a bar, and that was not the one Vince Young won. It was a different one. And Texas was way down and came back and won. The whole weekend, the whole time there was a little hazy, but I do remember it was fun.
We'll move right along. We got Georgia against Florida State, Capital One Orange Bowl. A lot of controversy tied to these two teams. Georgia was number 1, lost to Alabama, got bumped to 6. Florida State went undefeated, and here they are.
Got left out. It's basically another, just like Ohio State in the Cotton Bowl, it's the Disappointments Bowl. Both teams thought they deserved a little bit more, but it's the Orange Bowl. It's a really good bowl.
Yep.
I throw Cotton in these as well as the New Year's Six, even though it's not being played there. But it's a great bowl. Florida State's got 20+ guys opted out. Down to a 3rd-string quarterback. Georgia, on the other hand, has no opt-outs. Reading the articles online about this game, the Georgia players talked about culture. They wanted to finish out right. A lot of people don't know, if Georgia wins this game, that senior class for the University of Georgia will be the most winning class in the history of the school. So that means a lot to them. They want to play. A lot of the guys like Kamar Lassiter, NFL guys, Javon Bullard, an NFL guy, they're playing in this game. Now, they haven't announced at all about going pro or coming back either way.
But more than likely, this is it.
But they're playing. And Carson Beck, he's the only one who's announced he's coming back. He's in the game. The only guys not playing are Brock, that we know of right now.
He's down there.
He's down there.
And his uniform is down there.
I doubt they'll play. But you basically got Marius Mims and Brock Bowers who didn't make the plane ride down.
But they're on their way.
They did say Brock would probably come down. I didn't hear anything about Mims.
Mims is on his. He was in. I saw a picture of him in his car, and he was on his way.
On his way down.
Yeah. So he's there.
So now he's hurt as well. Kirby mentioned everybody's going to play except for the guys who are hurt. Looks like Ladd McConkey's back. He's going to play. They should have almost a full roster against Florida State, who's decimated by opt-outs. This could get really ugly.
We got the third string quarterback.
Yeah, and it's sad because like this game could be like the winner could basically say, well, we should have maybe got another, a chance. Yeah. But, it's not going to happen that way. But it's still the Orange Bowl, a lot to play for.
I mean, you get a ticket for $54 if you're in the Miami area.
And I don't really blame the Florida State players. Had they lost a game during the regular season and this was what they earned, I think more of them would have played.
All right. I'll move right along. Toledo, Wyoming, Barstool Sports, Arizona Bowl.
For $16, you can go to this game in Tucson, Arizona.
So
that wouldn't be bad. It's going to be warm there. And I'm going with Toledo. I don't know much about Wyoming, but when in doubt, go with the dudes from Toledo. Ohio, the entire state always just does football well.
Moving right along, the ReliaQuest Bowl in Tampa, Raymond James Stadium.
Which basically Wisconsin, is the Outback Bowl.
Outback Bowl.
This is on Monday. We're skipping a day here because for some reason college football won't put their big boy pants on and play on Sunday. NFL can go these numbers.
Well, you notice how the game, the 4 o'clock game is the Orange Bowl.
Which is horseshit.
We had the 8 o'clock Monday Night Football special on Saturday.
I don't give a rat's about the NFL. They can stop playing for all I care. That Orange Bowl, there's no way in hell that shouldn't be an 8 o'clock at night game. So now I got to find something to do Saturday night besides hang out with my family. It's the holidays. I've been hanging out with them 2 weeks straight. I need a break.
All right, moving right along. Wisconsin, LSU, and the old Outback Bowl. What do you think?
Well, LSU doesn't have Jaden Daniels. They got a lot of other guys. Neighbors going to play. They got a good young team. Kelly recruited pretty well last year. Got good guys coming in. They should completely out-athlete Wisconsin. It could be an ugly type of game because of the opt-outs. And because of the quarterback situation, I don't see Wisconsin being able to score points.
Right.
Big Ten West, complete garbage side of the conference. The whole Big Ten, in my opinion, is a garbage conference. I see the Big Ten having a really bad bowl season.
Yeah, probably.
Kind of the hopes are really hanging on Michigan, Iowa, and Ohio State, and I really feel all of them could end up losing.
Liberty is taking on Oregon in the Fiesta Bowl for $29. For $29, you can go to the Fiesta Bowl.
This really screams the 2008 Sugar Bowl from the 2007 season, the Georgia-Hawaii game. You have a team that is very good going up against like the kind of the darlings of that season, and it was ugly. And I expect this one to be ugly as well. I don't know about opt-outs for Oregon. And I don't really care. I don't think Liberty is going to be able to stop them at all.
I think they're going to put on a
It's going to be ugly. Liberty, give it credit to them.
Congratulations.
They made a New Year's Six bowl game, only to get completely waxed.
Yep. Moving right along, Iowa taking on Tennessee at 1 o'clock for $44 at Camping World Stadium in Orlando. Citrus Bowl. Cheez-It.
Wow, Cheez-It's really, because they had a bowl all their own last year. It was the Cheez-It Bowl. So this is Cheez-It Citrus Bowl. So I was going to be the name Citrus Bowl. Iowa, Tennessee. Tennessee has no Milton. He's out, opting out. So it's the Nico, can't pronounce his last name, show. Wicked big recruit. Probably the first dude that it was talked about an NIL deal for. It's his show. Yeah. I don't know about any of their opt-outs. They got a talented roster with wide receivers. They have good backs. Iowa's got a really good defense. I don't think Iowa's going to face an offense that does what Tennessee does. That fast, up-tempo, spread them out, crazy passing attack, but predicated on the run game. I expect this game to be close in the first half. Second half, maybe Tennessee takes it to them. This could get ugly. If Tennessee has success early, just kind of shock and all, like Iowa doesn't really know, it takes them a few series to kind of get warmed up. Next thing you know, they're down 17-0. This could get ugly. Iowa's offense is freaking terrible. Tennessee's defense isn't that good, and they've lost a couple of guys to the portal already. I don't see this being a huge problem for Tennessee defensively, regardless of who they lost. It's an easy defensible team. There's zero threat to pass the football, really, for Iowa. They can run the ball okay. I expect Tennessee to kind of pull away late in this one. Like I said, it could get ugly early, but I expect Tennessee to pull away maybe like midway through the third and probably win by 20. Should be a big win for Tennessee, though.
Should be.
They had a little bit of a disappointing season. They should have never lost to Florida. That was an abomination. They lost to the teams they should have lost to, and except for Florida. They would probably like to have that game back, but still win the bowl game. It's a New Year's bowl, not New Year's Six, but it's a New Year's bowl. Kind of right the wrongs of the season. Get ready for the Nico show next year.
All right, well, it's time to move on to the most important 2 games of the college football season.
Yes, and I've been dying to talk about this one particular game, the first one, the Rose Bowl.
Alabama versus Michigan.
I got some opinions on this one. All right, so a couple of my best friends are diehard Michigan fans. Good buddy Patrick, love the dude. Went to Michigan, was an equipment guy, has got a national championship ring right on his finger. I've seen it. And then my college roommate, way back in the day, still been really great friends with him all the way to this day. You met him last year. He came down for the Georgia-Tennessee game. Great guy, diehard Michigan fan. He's more along the lines of he believes Michigan's going to the national championship. My buddy Patrick's kind of like me. He's a little bit more of a pessimistic fan. He understands what could go wrong. So because of them, and because I was with Patrick a few times this football season, I watched Michigan games with him on TV in faraway states as we were watching Metallica, our Metallica weekend trips. We watched games. Here's my take of this game. Michigan's defense can cause Alabama's offense problems. I think they will probably have a difficult time covering Alabama's wide receivers, but I think they should be able to stifle the run game of Alabama minus Jalen Milroe. I'm not really sure how they're going to be able to stop him. The way Georgia tried to do it actually worked. If you look at the statistics, it worked great. Spying 2 guys. It worked really good. They sacked him 5-6 times in the game. The problem was it left him all the freaking time in the world to find a dude. And I know that Georgia's got a couple of really good corners. Kamari Lassiter should be at minimum a second-round pick, day 2 pick. You still can't cover those cats forever. So they're going to have to find a way how to put pressure on them. Now, what Michigan has at Georgia didn't is a couple of elite guys in the defensive line that might, by themselves, be able to get in and create pressure.
That's right.
Flip it over. Michigan's down their superstar offensive lineman, interior offensive lineman. I'm not sure they're going to be able to run the football as successfully as they want to against Alabama. They'll have some success, but they're not going to blow them off the line of scrimmage like that they've been doing. They need designed runs with JJ. And they also need some plays where he drops back to pass and then just takes off. They need that quarterback running element. Nick Saban teams have struggled with that in the past. That's what they need to move the football. Their wide receivers. There ain't a guy on that roster that's going to get open against Kool-Aid McKinstry, Terrion Arnold, and Caleb Downs. Not a dude on that roster. And their fans can tell me Donovan Edwards. Nope, sorry. You can make hay on Alabama in the middle of the field, intermediate. That was Georgia's bread and butter. Georgia couldn't get it done. They had Brock Bowers. Brock Bowers wasn't 100% healthy. Still, Brock Bowers at 80% is better than any tight end Michigan has. I do like them at 18. He's good. He's on a Brock Bowers caliber. Okay. They can make plays in the middle of the field, but they've got to use the backs and they've got to use slot wide receivers coming across the middle. And they've got to use the tight end. Tight end, number 18's got to have a huge game. I just don't see it happening. I don't see them being able to get enough being open. So they'll be able to put their corners on an island and bring in other guys in the box and put Caleb Downs rather. Caleb Odom's, I think, a tight end recruit that they got committed. Anyway, Caleb Downs should be able to get on Donovan Edwards or that tight end and shut them down. I have a hard time believing Michigan's scoring over 20 points in this game.
You just don't know. Michigan's got to control the time possession.
They do.
They've got to have sustained 7, 8, 9 minute drives.
And I just don't think they can do it. Because to beat Alabama, you've got to get chunk plays. You can't grind out running the football first down for 3, second down for 4, and get a 3rd and 3 and expect to make it consistently against Alabama's defense. And let's not forget, their offense was garbage early in the year, and that defense was keeping them in games. That defense was really, really good. Probably best thing Michigan, in fact, not probably, guaranteed the best defense Michigan has faced this year, and that includes Iowa and Ohio State. Alabama's defense is that good. I think Alabama, and I don't know how much, like I said, I think Michigan's defense can give Alabama's offense problems. I'm not sure how much Alabama can score either. I do believe Alabama's going to win this game, probably by 10. But I think it's going to be kind of low scoring. Lower than what we're used to in these playoff games.
We'll see. I think that might be the matchup of the day because the 8:45 Eastern time game, the Sugar Bowl, Texas and Washington.
Fucking Rose Bowl, because they got to have their way. They can't start at any other time because it's the freaking Rose Bowl. My least favorite bowl. And everyone's like, oh, that should be the national championship game every year. Rose Bowl is crap. It's a cool stadium. It's garbage. Get it out of California. Actually, no, don't. It's great. It's a great venue. Great, tradition. I just hate the fact that when this whole playoff thing was going to start, all the bowls were like, we'll make concessions to be involved. And Rose Bowl's like, nope. You can involve us. We're not changing anything. Or we'll do our own thing. And they kept them in anyway because of the huge tradition of the freaking Rose Bowl. The granddaddy of them all. My least favorite one. I even hate watching it.
I have no issue. Moving right along, Texas against Washington, 8:45 at New Orleans Superdome. We have watched a game there, watched a couple. We've been in there for a Sugar Bowl or two, drinking a lot of alcoholic beverages, having a good time though. What do you think?
That's a fun place to go watch a football game.
It is.
Ours was on New Year's Day. That the last time we went, had a blast. This game's going to be fun. I'm going to say Texas is going to win. That's my pick. Texas is going to win. But I can see ways where both teams can win. Both teams have opportunistic defense. I believe Texas has 16 interceptions on the year. Washington has 13, and 9 different guys for Washington have picks. So the ball's going to be in the air a lot between both these quarterbacks. A lot of opportunities for interceptions. Which quarterback's going to make the least mistakes? I love Texas wide receivers. I also love Washington's wide receivers. Texas's are a little bit more established this season. One of the guys, I forget his name, number 11 on Washington, basically been out the whole year, but prolific guy last year, but he's been hurt. He came in the conference championship game and had a big game. So it's going to come down to the quarterback and the wide receivers, in my opinion. Which QB is going to make the plays without the mistakes? Which wide up core is going to rise to the occasion? I love them both equally. I personally believe that Dunze and A.D. Mitchell are 2 of the best, if not the 2 best wide receivers in the country, minus Marvin Harrison. I want to throw that out there. He ain't in this game. But I would say those 3 guys, best ones. Right. There's a lot of good wideouts this year in the college football. And 6 of them are going to play on Monday. But Dunze and A.D. Mitchell are awesome. I don't know much about Xavier Worthy. He went down in the conference championship with looked like a high ankle sprain.
Yeah, we'll see.
Had to get put in the locker room, came back like on crutches. Not sure what's up with him. Tried to check it out on Twitter yesterday, and I saw nothing. Could it be a good game? I keep looking. There's one thing I keep looking at. And I know that Texas went through a stretch where they struggled. They found a way to win, but they struggled. And that's just going to help them. When you're faced with adversity, if you can overcome, adapt and overcome and find a way to win, that's great. Washington did that too. Washington had a string of like 5 games. They looked like crap offensively.
And then they played Oregon and just went
And then they went bananas. I mean, they had that 5-game streak up until the conference championship game, and they didn't look good. Are they going to have that kind of game? They can't have that kind of game against Texas and expect to win. But I got to give them the same credit I gave Texas. They overcame and adapted. Against Arizona, they didn't score an offensive touchdown.
That's right.
But they found a way to get it done, and they're undefeated. This game could go either way. I've seen a lot of people picking Washington lately. I'm going to go with national championship game, a rematch of the game in Tuscaloosa from earlier in the year. Alabama, Texas. And I have a hard time saying that you can beat Nick Saban twice in the same season.
We're going to find out.
But I think Texas could do it.
I think of all the teams, I think Texas is probably the most complete team out of all 4 of these teams.
Yep. Texas, in my opinion, has the best shot next to Georgia at stopping Jalen Milroe. And I'm convinced that Georgia, even without a good defensive tackle, was a couple of healthy guys away from winning that football game.
I mean, no one lost by 3 points.
They did.
And they did not play well.
Without, 5 guys, 5 offensive starters they were without. So
That's the way it works.
shit happens, man. Injuries are part of football. No excuses.
That's right. And, Auburn should have beat Alabama the week before, and they should not be in this game. But this is just how it shakes
That's
out.
why somebody I respect in college football said you need to knock he blamed Ole Miss and another team. He goes in Tennessee. He goes, you got to knock Alabama off because if you let them get to this point,
They can win it all.
they're just going to go win another title, and then I picked to win the national championship. But if you remember, I picked them to win the Natty months ago.
Everybody counted them out after that showing against Texas early in the season.
And they barely beat UCF, or USF rather.
Yeah. And look at them now. They're sitting here in the driver's seat. They're arguably the best team left in the whole dance. Arguably. You don't know. 'Cause, for what they looked like in the past few weeks, other than the Auburn game, they've looked really good.
Yeah. And we'll probably come back to you after this week and talk about the upcoming national championship game after these games have played. But I'm going to give my picks now. I'm going to say it's going to be Alabama, Texas. Could be wrong. I do like the fact that, and I know this is the third year in a row Michigan's been there, but they haven't won a semifinal game yet.
Yeah.
I look at this playoff field and minus Alabama, these are relatively fresh faces. Texas never made it. Washington's made it just one time. I would have thrown Georgia in there because I would have put them in the same boat as Michigan. Yeah, they've been in the last 3 years, but this is the 9th year of the playoff. Three times isn't a big deal. Alabama, this is what their 7th or 8th time in the playoff. So but it's a good playoff field. I'm happy with it.
This is probably the most evenly matched set of teams we've seen in here in a very long time. Cincinnati's been in there. TCU got in there and magically beat Michigan last season in a game they shouldn't have won.
Yep.
But here we are. I would say Alabama and Texas. But it wouldn't surprise me if Michigan knocked off Alabama. It wouldn't surprise me if Washington knocked off Texas here. I think none of these teams are, I guess, juggernauts. They're not perfect. There's Michigan, they got quarterback questions. I don't think JJ is that great.
Yeah, I wanted to see them throw the football more, and they haven't. And when they have had to throw it the last maybe 3 or 4 games, he hasn't looked all that good. Yeah. Out of these 4 teams, I would say Texas is the most complete team.
I agree. So Alabama, Texas. I guess next week we'll determine who's going to win. Anyway, I guess that's it. We'll do this again next week.
See ya.